US diplomat Ashley Telis has been arrested in the United States for possessing hundreds of secret high level documents. What has happened and what is the charge? To get a better understanding of this, I'm joined by senior journalist Seema Sirohi from Washington, D.C. Seema, first, your reactions on this news. What do you make of it?
Utter shock. And I'm not the only one. The entire Washington, D.C. think tank community and journalists who write about South Asia, India in particular, don't know what to make of it. They are having a tough time wrapping their heads around it, because Ashley Tellis was kind of a very important analyst, a very well-respected scholar, a very pleasant person. Everyone's had good experiences with him, so it's it's a it's a shock. We don't know what motivated him to sort of carry all these documents home, because the evidence, according to the initial affidavit that's been revealed by Special Agent Jeffrey Scott, is quite damning. He had more than 1,000 pages of classified documents. So that's it. We don't know what to make of it. I'm waiting for the full information to be disclosed, the indictment to be revealed, and then only we'll know how long it's been going on. But what's clear is that he was under surveillance for at least 2 years, if not more.
So, 64-year-old Ashley Tellis joined the State Department U.S. service in 2001. He was the current Tata Chair at the Carnegie Endowment. He was considered one of the architects of the strategic US-India relationship, specifically the civil nuclear deal that was finalized in 2015. This is no ordinary individual. In fact, some say that he was considered one of the top people in the US-India lobby in DC.
I wouldn't use the word lobby. He was a great proponent of US-India relations. He is one of the architects in the improvement of those relations during George W. Bush's administration. It's all started there. The nuclear deal was concluded in 2008. Negotiations started in 2006. So and he was like absolutely key to that nuclear deal being, negotiated and finally coming into existence. But I must also add for your viewers that over the last 2-3 years, he had become increasingly critical of India. He had written about whether India is a good bet for the US or not, whether India can rise to the occasion. If there's ever a conflict with China, can India be depended upon to take the American side, etc., etc., which, needless to say, had greatly annoyed the Indian government. And he had lost some very good friends in India because of that. But all in all, he is a very well-respected scholar. So,
It's interesting that you're saying over the past few years he had. I wouldn't use the term become disillusioned with the prospects of a relationship that he had laid the foundations for. But this is happening at a critical time in US-India relations as well. You've had trade negotiations that have hit many roadblocks. The Indians aren't necessarily agreeing to all American demands, especially when it comes to agriculture tariffs and penetration into the Indian agriculture market. How significant are those negotiations? And in the context of those negotiations, how do you see this arrest?
I don't think the two are related. From whatever little we know, the relationship is facing huge amounts of difficulty under Trump 2.0 that we all know. Trump has decided to kind of punish India for various reasons, and his senior cabinet officials have been rather intemperate, even abusive in their language when they talk about India. So all that is happening, and talks are going on. There is some hope that Trump and the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi might meet in Malaysia next week, but we don't know. Nothing is for sure. A trade deal is crucial to setting the US India relationship right. That we know. But in the meantime, relations between Pakistan and the US have improved hugely, and that has had its own impact on India. But I think this episode with Ashley Tellis, I don't see an obvious link or anything. His criticism of India was before Trump came to power. I mean, he started becoming critical of India before. And it's clear from the affidavit that he was under surveillance for at least 2 or 3 years. So that puts it under Biden administration. It puts it under a different FBI, CIA director. So I don't think it's related to Trump, which was the first thing almost every Indian who messaged me said, "Oh, he's being targeted." And I said, "No, I don't think so. It's just people are so jumpy these days about everything. I think we need to take a long, deep breath." And shocking it is what he is accused of doing. I mean, there's no question about it. Whether that information was passed on to China, we don't know. The affidavit says that he carried a manila envelope one time when he went for dinner with some Chinese officials, and he didn't have it when the dinner got over. So he handed it to them, and he got a red bag in return. So all this is the only thing we know. Let's wait for the full information to come out.
A few things that you've already mentioned from the affidavit. There were allegedly 4 meetings that he held with senior Chinese officials, according to this affidavit, between 2002 and September 2025, which was last month. And as you mentioned, an envelope. There's also a mention of documents, top secret and secret documents being copied and then carried and held by Ashley Tellis. You also mentioned, Seema, and I think you can give a perspective on this, the warming ties between the Trump 2.0 administration and Pakistan, specifically after the India-Pakistan 4-day skirmish back in May, Operation Sindoor, as India called it. Donald Trump has made it a point to, I think, dozens of times raise the point that he mediated between India and Pakistan, that he averted the war. He's also been complimentary towards the Pakistan military ruler, Field Marshal General Asim Munir. How is this realignment, or is this even a realignment, affecting India-US relations, and how are you perceiving it sitting from where you are?
Well, there is clearly some sort of a reset between US and Pakistan. We cannot deny that. There's too much evidence. I mean, Asim Munir, the Field Marshal and Army Chief, has been here 3 times. He's been to the White House twice. And President Trump can't stop praising him as if he was, the best thing that happened to the Pakistani people. But if you ask the Pakistani people, they may not agree. Whatever goes in the name of democracy in the Pakistani system is further diminished because he's completely a de facto ruler, and President Trump is promoting him day and night. This has an impact on US India. It has an impact on India because India accuses the Pakistan Army and its intelligence agency, ISI, of harboring terrorists and, sort of orchestrating many terrorist attacks over the years in India. So, India has no love lost for the Pakistan army, but Trump is finding Pakistan very useful at this moment, whether it's for critical minerals that Pakistan says it has and they can be mined, whether it's for Trump's family to make money, family and friends, I should say, to make money through crypto deals, whether it is to put pressure on Iran. And Pakistan sort of has a border with Iran. So suddenly the geopolitics in South Asia has changed in Pakistan's favor, and the Americans are looking, or I should say, actually, we should specify, is President Trump and the inner circle is looking very kindly at Pakistan. I wouldn't go so far as to say that the whole system has changed because President Trump has kind thoughts about Pakistan. There are questions about Pakistan that remain. Its ability to actually deliver, its economy is in a shambles. It's always dependent on handouts, whether from the IMF or whether from Saudi Arabia. Uh, it's basically manages to survive uh, because the kindness of others.
Have you seen anything like this in your time in DC and covering US India ties, what you're seeing right now?
Yes, it was, when 9/11 happened, the World Trade Center was attacked, the Americans went all out to give money to Pakistan, to seek its help. And the idea was that Pakistan would help hunt down these terrorists. And lo and behold, Osama bin Laden was found living in Pakistan, and Pakistani ISI and the establishment pretended they didn't know. Americans went through the motions and distanced themselves under Biden. President Biden didn't even talk to the Pakistani prime minister for 4 years. So, and now they're back. So it's part of a cycle, I would say. I've seen these ups and downs, and with President Trump, everything is intense. It's intense love, intense hatred. Everything is great. The field marshal is like amazing. He's not given to temperate language. It's always excitement and excited language. So yeah, I'm taking the view that let's see what happens. It's part of the same cycle that gets repeated over and over again. Rinse and repeat.
Finally, you mentioned 9/11. You mentioned Pakistan and America's close relationship after 9/11 up until Osama bin Laden was found. The Afghan Taliban interim foreign minister, Amir Khan Muttaqi, is in New Delhi, has been on this 6-day visit where he was greeted a red carpet treatment. And simultaneously, there's a war that is now underway, or at least some sort of war underway between Afghanistan and Pakistan, with even Kabul being attacked. What is the view in India, looking at all of this from the US, from Pakistan, in Afghanistan, and the fact that Ashley Telis has been accused of supplying these documents to China, of all countries?
Well, the view in India is very clearly that my enemy is my friend. So Pakistan and Afghanistan have not been getting along since the takeover by Taliban in 2021. So and the fact that India is having a very difficult time in its relationship with the US also gives it some motivation to normalize, in a manner of speaking, relations with Afghanistan. Now, in my humble opinion, I think a 6-day visit was over the top. The same thing could have been done in 3 days. They wanted to send a signal to Pakistan. That signal could have been sent with 2 days or 3-day visit. 6 days is like when Bill Clinton went to Beijing and just, stayed there forever, it seems, 6, 7 days, because the Chinese wanted it that way. They demanded that he stay this much. So I don't know. I think the fact that he tried to exclude women journalists from his first press conference, and Muttaqi, that was taken very badly by all of us. And we all said something on Twitter about it. The government of India was shamed enough, or the Ministry of External Affairs realized there was a very bad misstep. They put pressure on Muttaqi to have another press conference, to which women journalists were invited. But this red carpet treatment, thank God they canceled the visit to the Taj Mahal, you know. But his visit to Deoband, where thousands and thousands of Indian Muslims came out and, to meet him and to honor him and things like that. I mean, this is a regime that helped in the hijack of an Indian plane. It's a regime that attacked the Indian embassy and consulates constantly in Afghanistan. So I don't know why we have to go overboard. You can, do geopolitics. You can do little games and shenanigans, and but don't forget your own values and people. A man who subjugates. He's part of a government that subjugates half the population of Afghanistan. Girls are not allowed to go to school. They're not allowed to work. I mean, and he tried to pull that one in India. And the Foreign Ministry of India, let it happen. That was pretty shocking.
Seema Sirohi, senior journalist, thank you so much for your perspective from Washington, D.C.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Do like, subscribe, and share this content. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care.